All right, all right, all right. How is everybody doing this morning? I'm going live a couple minutes early. I'm going to go live a couple minutes early because I want to try something. But what I want to do is I want to say hi first and foremost, make sure everybody is doing well. Thank you for being here. Now, I'm a little bit of a bonehead. Well, make myself a little bit bigger. And I wore a green shirt to a green screen. So if you see me phase in and out, it's because I'm an idiot. I'm not wearing a lightning bolt tie-dye shirt. Outstanding me. Thank you for letting me know. I checked that very carefully before I got on this morning, recorded a session, and so good to hear. Hopefully it's loud and clear. But anyway, yeah, please smash that like. I do have some people that are new subscribers that said that they are going to be coming into the channel. And so I'm looking forward to that. A couple people said that the preview that I did for the video, they were really interested in seeing this. Hey, CM Silver, what's going on? Yeah, Big Flip said that he's going to be sending people over. Hey, Brown Sugar, how are you doing? Thank you, Brown Sugar, for all the kind comments on the new shorts. I got the new series going on, so I definitely appreciate that. I do appreciate you. See Happy Chappy, what's going on, brother? Thanks for coming in. So I'm going to try something today, something a little bit different. I want to engage chat and taking from a couple other channels. I decided I was going to try to do something on Saturdays, specifically on Saturdays, to help engage the chat and get people to discussing. Jeff and Lola Davis, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you two being here. Hey, Jessica, what's going on? Hey, if you haven't seen Jessica, she's got a big shindig going on September 5th. You're going to have to go over and check her out. There's something about a birthday or something like that, but go check her out. She's awesome. Siren Silver Stash, one of my favorite lovely mods. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. William E., if I didn't say hi to you before, hi. Big Flip, thank you for raiding me. I appreciate you, brother. I do appreciate all the support that you've offered the channel. Shift Kicker, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming in. So what I was talking about was during my Saturday streams, what I'm going to do is what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to put in some commands. Now, these commands, much like you would have in your normal Nightbot, would be like exclamation point email, and then that would kick my email, or exclamation point ship. I think it's ship. That gives me the ship, or maybe it's shipping. That actually gives you the shipping information. I think it's shipping. I'll get a list of those. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be implementing kind of a detective style chat while I'm giving my presentation. So what that's going to kind of look like is as you start to see things come in and we start to discuss certain items, I'm going to give you a clue. And hey, Coin Crew, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to give you a clue. And that clue will be something like, all right, yeah, go check out that video. Go hit that notification. Make sure you do that. And we can go support Jessica. Thank you for putting that in there, Jess. Well, what I'm going to do is, so for instance, in this case, I will say something like 1991. Now, this is a hint for today. Today's going to be a demo. But you put in like 1991. So I'll say name a year, a significant year. Oops, so I got to, it's a little bit of it's broke, got to work on it. Okay, so what you see here is you are right on track. This is the right year, but I'm looking for a key date. Use the day, month, year, whatever, and it'll form an example. So for instance, if I wanted to do the January 1st, which I would do 01 January 1991, and then that's what I would enter into chat, then that'll open up another window. It says, this is an example only. Can you find my key date before the end of the stream? And so if you were to put in the right date, it's going to give you have to put the exclamation point first, coin crew. And then you would go through the next one and it'll say, okay, so I'm looking for a specific date. So you may put something in there like April 1st. So 01 April, it's going to be 2-month 1991. Okay, so you'll put something like this in there. Now, 01 April 1991 doesn't show up. There's nothing significant in this. It doesn't appear. But when you're on a queue, so Chappie, in this today only, I've already given you the year. The year is going to be 1991. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a key date. Now, I want you to pay attention to the topic. The topic is going to be about the F-35 or the F-22 Raptor. We're talking about the Air Force coin. So when I start talking about the history and the analytics and some of the numbers and some of the program status, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to hear pieces of information and you'll be able to kind of cue in on some dates. The other thing is you might have to do a little bit of detective work. So when you see something come up, you may have to go in and say, oh, hey, key dates in 1991 related to the F-22. And so what's going to happen is the person who gets the event, gets the item, the actual specific thing that comes out, it's going to come back and it's going to say, hey, congratulations, you won. Hey, Frostbite, give this gentleman a prize or give this woman a prize or whatever it might be. And so that's how I'm going to be doing my giveaway on Saturday. So if you can guess the item, then I'm going to go ahead and give it away. Now, I've taken a little bit of this page out of Silver Bull. I really like the way he's done that. It got a lot of engagement. Chappie, again, when you're doing this, it's going to be the day, JAN, or MAR, or FEB, okay? So it'll be a specific date. You could type in Gulf War, but again, when you're doing this, if you were going to be doing Gulf War me, it would be like this. Okay, so it would be $ Gulf War. It is complicated, but after a little bit of practice, after a little bit of time, you'll do this. If nobody gets this today, I'll walk you through what the answers are, kind of give you, it'll be a little bit of a history lesson as well. It's another way for me to engage history in this and to, so take out the T, it's only 3. I may have to change that. I may have to do just a regular date, 09/09/1991, 08/05/1991. 1991. I may have to play with this a little bit, but I'm going to play with it today. I'm going to sample it. If we don't get a winner by the end of the stream, then I'll go ahead and I will do my winner command, and you can do that. Also, I do believe my bot is working, so you should be able to perform these commands. Hopefully it comes back up. I was able to get this up and running. I may have to give it a couple minutes in the stream. If this doesn't work, then I'm probably just gonna, try that one. See if that works. Hopefully this works, and if so, you'll be able to do this. Okay, very good. So the ice slots all works. The 8-ball, I believe, works. But anyway, so there's going to be some items that you have in chat. This is going to be something that's going to be for you guys to kind of engage in while you're listening to me. And you can continue to talk and do these kind of things while we discuss this particular topic. So anyway, I hope you guys find this interesting. I loved the Ships on Coins. This was something that I really enjoyed doing, but I also like warfare in air. I like ahoy, I've joined the hunt, sweet. I also like air combat. I like aerial reconnaissance. I enjoy airspace and cyberspace. Many of you don't know that I worked for the Air Force for a couple of years. I was served in the Navy, worked under the Department of the Air Force for a couple of years. So I really understand a lot of the airmen. I really enjoy their mission, especially when it comes to space and cyberspace. And so I really am enjoying, I'm looking forward to this particular one. You can see I got a lot of smile on my face. So this should be a lot of fun. Kin of mine, thank you for being here. So I'm going to go ahead and go through real quick and just make sure I say hi to everybody. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Then I'll go ahead and kick off. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you smash that like button. It really, really helps me out. And anyway, Colonel Cowboy, thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, Flip sent some people over here. He had a really cool little episode about his Peace and Morgan Dollars, was going through that, was creating some videos. It was fun to watch that. Brown Sugar, again, thank you for coming in. Coin Crew, as always, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your support. Will's Treasures, William E., Lola Davis, CM Silver, C Happy Chappy, Big Flip Coins. Let's see, obviously me. I think that's everybody. If I have missed you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to miss anybody. I'm going to try and keep an eye on this, but as I start to get ready to go into this section, I'm going to kind of deviate from that, and I'm going to break into talking about the coin that I'm about to present here, which is the 2022 Air Force commemorative. And I am going to, bam, here we go. All right, so as you can see, the star of the show today is going to be the F-22, but I want to talk about the coin. I want to talk about, I believe the Mint made a mistake. Now, I'm not going to be able to follow chat. So for some reason, if, thank you for subbing. I Shirk, appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you very much. But I wanted to look at this coin. Now, I've got a couple examples here that I'm going to be going through. But it's really important when you look at the design of things to understand language. Now, I'm going to say a couple things, and I would like to know if any of you actually know what these means. Auhe, Oye, Uingde. How many people know what that was? Or Dabi Abu, Spiby Bibik, double. Do any of you know what those were? So some of you might have recognized those two items, one of them being Pig Latin and the other one being Double Dutch. These are languages that my sister and I learned as going through school, learned these kind of things, and they were fun little languages. The point that I bring that up in is that unless you are in that particular culture, or unless you're in that particular frame or that construct during that time frame, you may not understand the importance of the language, or you may not understand the premise of the language. And I think that this is one of the situations that happened here with this particular coin. Paula Bloom, thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here because her and I have had a conversation about this particular coin. But sounded like number two to me. But language matters, right? Understanding the language, understanding the terminology, understanding the purpose of things is important. And I don't think that the U.S. Mint really did due diligence when it came to the reverse of this particular coin. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this. Now, this is the coin that we're talking about. This is the 2022. And again, wearing a green shirt and a green screen. I apologize. I'm going to be looking like I'm phasing out, coming in and out of phase. Yeah, the metal makes you mad. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to discuss this. But when you're looking at this particular item, you see the obverse there with the stylized pilot, the F-22. With the background, you have the United States Air Force kind of embossed there in that stylized groundwork that's there. It's a really cool looking coin. And then when you flip it over right here behind me, you have the reverse of this particular coin. And then you have culture, diversity included in this coin, which is something that the Air Force has really been pushing the last 10 years or so. maybe longer than that, but the really, really deep focus on culture and diversity. You see the core values, and then you see the spire, that is the Air Force Memorial, talking about the tenets and the pillars of the core values and the kind of the path of which the Air Force embodies themselves. Now, being Navy, mine was always honor, commitment, and courage. Honor, commitment, and courage is also the United States Marine Corps. But in the Navy, or in the Air Force, it's integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Now, when you look at the coin, there's a problem. Now, this particular issue frustrated a number of people. So the question is, did they mess up? And when I talked to Paula, and Paula's going to say, yes, absolutely, they screwed up. And I'm inclined to agree with her. And I'm inclined to agree with her on one premise and one premise only. When you talk about General Brown was a chief of staff, and he stated that the Air Force core values were a path. They were something that all airmen were going to be held to. And this path was going to be something that traversed their mission. So it didn't matter what they were going to do. What they wanted you to start with was integrity. From integrity, you moved over to service before self, right? Putting others before yourself. And then in everything you do, have excellence, right? But when you look at this particular coin, the problem is that you see integrity in the center. Now, I've had a couple people utilize this challenge coin as an example. And if you look at this challenge coin and you look up in the top center, you're going to see integrity first. Now, people are like, well, that looks exactly like the other one. And I'm going to argue with you and say, no, it doesn't. And the reason that it doesn't is when you look at this particular coin says integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. It rotates in a counterclockwise fashion with integrity first being there. If you didn't, it would say integrity first, do we all in excellence? It doesn't make sense. There's not an adequate flow here. And so you always say integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And even though integrity first comes at the high point of this coin, they did this specifically for one reason and one reason only. And this information came to me from a previous Deputy Surgeon General of the Air Force, General Murphy, who is a friend of mine. And he told me that when I was talking about this and I had him show this, he's like, make sure that people understand that they didn't do this to highlight that integrity is the first thing. It is the top key element. So when they designed this challenge coin, they put integrity first, but they followed the core values flow. So it is integrity first, excellence, or service before self, and excellence in all we do. So even though this coin has the same structure as this one, they are not the same. And they did screw up on this one. This was a design element that the person who designed this just simply did not understand the importance of the coin. They didn't understand the integrity first. It is the basis. It's the premise of all items. And it just was a very bad design element. So it's upset a lot of airmen. It's upset a lot of people, actually. And there were many people were so upset that they just did not purchase the coin. Now, a lot of people can go, well, that's just stupid. Actually, it's not. And I say that because esprit de corps, if you've been in the service and you understand your mission, you understand your core value, they're not just words to you. They're your life's blood. They're what you live by. They're the path. They're the North Star, as General Brown stated in his statement, that lead us to everything that we do. Now, not everybody in the military holds those core values, holds those things to be as serious and as robust as many of us do. But most people do. They take their core values seriously. And so because of that, I still love the coin, but yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on this, in my opinion. There's other people that feel the same way, but again, this is just one of those things. Now, we have people in chat saying that they would not buy the medal because of this. I would love to have this piece. I will not personally buy it. If somebody wants to send it to me, outstanding, cool. But I'm not going to go out and seek it. I love the coin. I love its premise, but I would rather have this challenge coin. There's other challenge coins that I would rather have. I've been given a number of them over the years, and I would much rather get somebody's personal challenge coin than spend on the Air Force medal, simply because they didn't take time to really pay attention to the core elements. And if you can't understand the core values, then you probably didn't do your research. All right, so what are your opinions? What do you think? Do you think that we're way off kilter? Do you think we're going crazy? Do you think we went too far in this? Please let me know. Put something in there. Keep it going in chat. I see people putting in dates. I'm hopeful you guys are working towards it, looking for some key dates. I'll give you a point here in just a minute. We're going to get to a pointer here, probably in the next 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I wouldn't buy it. It's Air Force. Me is diehard blue through and through. Both me, Chief, and myself were in the military. They were in the Navy. But again, I, having worked for the Air Force, have a love for the Air Force and their missions. So I truly understand me, but it's always going to be Fly Navy. Yeah, I got you. All right, so let's get to the star of today's show, and that's going to be the F-22 Raptor. So when we look at the obverse of this coin, I really do like the obverse of this coin. I think it's really well thought out. There's a couple elements on here that are extremely, extremely... yeah, tell me how you feel, Paula. Don't hold it back. Keep that in there. That's awesome. But I love this plane, and I really do like the stylized approach that they did on this particular coin. I will say that the design elements for the military medal series, some of them are really, really well done. Some of them are kind of old. Okay, so see Happy Chappy. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break. See Happy Chappy found the key date, which was Christmas 1991. So now tell me how that relates to today's story. So in order to do that, you're going to have to, yeah, again, I say the same thing. It doesn't matter. But again, it's friendly banter. It's not meant to be ignorant or rude. Everybody's proud of their service, but again, it's esprit de corps. It's military esprit de corps. And that's genuinely what it's about. We all serve the same mission. We may have different venues in which that mission is served, but we all serve the same mission. All right, so F-22 Raptor. Now, this particular coin, this is something that I took a lot of time to really understand the plane. So I've done a lot of research in this. I've got a lot of information to go over. I've only got about 35 minutes to get through all of this. I'm not going to talk overly fast, but I am going to kind of go through, give you some information about when it was created, give you some timelines, talk about some overall costs, some issues that they had along the way, give you a final tally, and then kind of wrap things up with some numismatic news. All right, so as Chappie's seen in chat, it was the end of the Cold War era in 1991. And 1991 is a significant date when it comes to the F-22 Raptor. So the Department of Defense had urged that new weapon systems be developed. This is something that happens all the time. Different conflicts, different things of this happen. This happened in 1985. And they said that there's tumultuous situations overseas, especially in the Soviet Union, and we need to have something that would allow us to maintain our air superiority. So they developed the F-22, they developed the request and implemented it through a number of test and trial periods. And on April 9th of 1997, they unveiled this at Dobbs Air Base in Marietta. Now, its first flight, its maiden flight, happened on September 7th of 1997. And you can see as I start to drop dates, how as I'm going to be going through these items, you'll see how the key dates are going to be items that help you understand some of those exclamation point date marks to find my bottom line piece. So anyway, I kind of teaching and talking about the game as we go. But anyway, so the F-22 was unveiled. It was met with a lot of fanfare. They were really happy about it. It performed really well. But what was not really understood is that in order for the F-22 to live up to the expectations that were set, there were high or extremely ambitious performance elements that were required. There were issues that they had to worry about cost overrun. They had to worry about program implementation. They had to worry about official budgets and deficits. And all of these were being exacerbated by the turmoil that was happening in Russia between 1985 and 1991. A lot of you understand the situation that was going on with Gorbachev and Reagan, talking about the situation about East Berlin, West Berlin, the Berlin Wall, talking about the situation in Ukraine, Ukraine seeking independence during that same time frame, all around that 1991 time frame. And because of this, it actually put a huge kibosh on the F-22. And we're going to get to that here in just a minute. But because there were so many design features that had to happen in this particular fighter, there were things that needed to happen. So it's a gorgeous plane. It performed well, lots of tests, and they did just a ton of research, development, testing, and evaluation. So if you hear me utilize the term RTD and E, that's what I'm referring to. Again, that's research, development, test, and evaluation. And because of what happened in 1991, timetables drastically shifted. So they were expecting that these would be released sometime in the late 1990s, and the dates got pushed back, and they actually didn't even really get this into circulation until about 2005 was when they actually started to do this. And they actually didn't really get the modifications and done for all the design elements until 2006. Now in 2006, something really cool happened. 2006, the team that was working on the F-22 won the Collier Trophy. Now I'm not going to read this, but there's information here on the Collier Trophy. But basically, it's American aviation's most prestigious award. And so a couple things happened as soon as they won the award on this. And that is that the contracting team, staffers, military members, pilots, all became severe targets of cyber attacks, phishing, well attacks, things of that nature, because people really wanted to get the technology from this, right? And so anybody who understands military prowess or military processes, you know that we have our security clearances and we have things that we don't share, and there's bits of information that can lead to serious or grave conditions and national security threat. And because of this, we don't share information. We don't publicly post information. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't happen. And so people utilize this kind of cyber and electronic warfare to get information that will give countries an edge, especially when you're talking about airspace and cyberspace, which is the new war domain, which is why, again, I really enjoy this particular domain when we're talking about moving forward, because there's not going to be a lot of conventional warfare. There's still going to be conventional warfare, but not like it used to be. We're never going to see a World War I or a World War II ever again. It's going to happen at 200, 300, 400 miles away. It's going to happen. I'm sitting in my living room. You're sitting in your living room. Somebody's doing a hack. Warfare, the face of warfare has changed. And because of that, there were a lot of implications that had to be taken into place. I'm going to talk a little bit about those and some of the safeguards that we did regarding the F-22 towards the end. So stay tuned and pay attention to that. So let's talk a little bit about the production and the procurement of this particular device. I'm going to be constantly glancing over and looking at the time to make sure that I don't go over. I want to make sure that we stay in line for the premiere train. So in 1985, as I started before, the Air Force ordered 750 of these. Now I want you to pay attention to that number, 750, okay? This is an important number because we all know if you've been in the military, right? Now, you got the Air Force guy over here who's been strapped to the jet, holding out his 45, right? He is the new weapon system for that aircraft. Over here behind me, the Army, you have your little man-made Sherman tank. Up here, you got another Army one that is, instead of the big gun on the front, you got the wrist rocket that he's out there shooting his projectiles with. And then, of course, you have the Navy guy sitting in this little battleship kind of rowboat looking thing. And these are all just jabs at military budget cuts and military spending cuts. But this is a real thing. This is something that if you were in DoD and you're working towards these things, these are serious issues, and they can really affect program cost. They can affect program output, and they can actually either make or break certain programs. So in '85, they originally ordered 75 or 750 of these at a total cost of about $44.3 billion. Now, production was supposed to start in 1994, but again, because of the tumultuous situation, that got pushed way back. But during this time frame, Cold War era ending, budget cuts, Star Wars defense system, all these other things that were being looked at, potentially being scrapped, the F-22 was under the gun. And the Secretary of Defense, Dick Cheney, said, we just had all this stuff going on. I don't think that 740s or 750 is a good number. We're going to go ahead and drop this down. And they reduced the number by about 100 fighters. And they moved the program back to 1996, and they pushed that out to a delivery in the early 2000s. Now, there was a expeditionary force structure within the Air Force that ended up only getting about 380 fighters because of massive reductions that were done. And so in a matter of 2 years, the cuts went from 750 potential fighters down to 380. Significant impact, but the 380 was still a proposed number of planes. Now, mind you, the budget of $44.3 billion didn't change. It's just that they were reducing the number of planes. So as they reduced the number of planes, that budget was supposed to be coming down, but because of research costs and other things of that nature, that figure actually didn't decrease. So in 1997, they decided that they were going to halt this. Congress put in a question in. They called the Armed Service Committee together and said, do we need this fighter? And they discussed it for about a year. And in 2000, they looked at what they were going to do. There was about a 2.5-year battle between DoD and Congress to defend this F-22. Now, they were still doing research, they were still doing development, but as far as generating the actual aircraft was kind of put on hold. But new funding came through and everything was good in 2003, but they cut it down to 277 aircraft. In 2004, with its focus on asymmetry counterinsurgency, this is something that if you were in the Air Force or even the Navy during the Gulf War, you've heard those terms before. Donald Rumsfeld, who was the Secretary of the Defense, cut 277 down to 183 and stated that the Air Force's requirement was 183 and we would not go below that. Well, the Air Force still had an allotment of 380 aircraft. So if you remember, I was talking about 1996, the Air Force built their structure, their warfare, they built all that stuff based off 380 planes. And the Congress came back and said, along with Donald Rumsfeld, that no, you're only going to be getting 183 of these. Now, that 183 obviously had to be distributed between 7 combat squadrons, and they kicked off the program. And so these things started to come out and started to be produced in the end of 2006. In 2008, the Congress passed a defense spending bill that would help the F-22 program, and they increased the production to 187. So they actually increased it by 4. They approved appropriations, they approved budget for it, and they continued to go through. So I'm going to flash some numbers here for you. I'm going to go over some specifics. These are some of the things that happened that were good with the program. These are some of the things that were bad with the program. But during the F-22 production, over 1,000 subcontractors and 95,000 jobs would be held. Again, this was RTD&E specific, right? Research and development, testing, evaluation. There were a lot of people looking into the technology, looking into radar cross signatures, how to reduce it. As stated in my little short yesterday when I was telling people that this is what we were going to talk about, I talked about them going so deep as looking at the helmet. So when they looked at the canopy, when the radar would penetrate the canopy, what kind of signatures would they get back? There was so much RDE that occurred in this that it actually took up about half of the budget. In fact, $32 billion. Now we talk about the initial cost of $44.3 billion, but $32 billion solely went to RTD&E. And the total cost of the overall final program came in, as you can see here down at the bottom, at an astonishing $67.3 billion, which put this at about $360 million per aircraft. There were some additional aircraft done because of issues that were happening within the last 10, 15 years, I believe, with China and the Asian Sea, that North Asian area becoming a hot spot. So they did increase the capabilities of the F-22 in that regard. But I told you that there were some safeguards and things that were put into place, and I really kind of want to talk about that really fast. So the one thing that's unique about the F-22 is the F-22 will never be sold. There was such an advancement in the F-22 in relation to RCS, which is radar cross signature, looking at things like cross vector thrust vectoring, looking at radar signature, looking at heat signature, looking at the exhaust vents. They developed an S-type curvature for the intake and outlets for the engine systems. There were ports on the back that distributed the thing. I'm going to go back here and show you. So if you look at this area right here, you can see the nozzling, and these nozzles, this pattern was designed specifically to help reduce the heat signature, to reduce the ability for heat sinking missiles, ground to air, air to air, from being able to detect this plane. There were also coatings and things like that to reduce the signature of heat during supersonic flight. As you're flying at Mach 1, Mach 2, the surface expands, it heats up. That's one thing. Like the SR-71 used to get really, really hot. In fact, the SR-71, here's a little bit of trivia for you. The SR-71, when it was on the ground, used to leak fuel because it wasn't airtight, it wasn't secure until it was actually at altitude going at speed. A lot of those kind of things happen here. I mean, the ballast tanks and the fuel tanks and stuff were, I said ballast, sorry, Navy thing. The fuel tanks obviously are secure here, but there's so many different technologies and advancements that were had that it really kind of dug into the fact that there's so much top secrets information within this plane. We can't let it go, right? And there's no way for us to be able to sell this. Now, that's not always been true with certain fighters. And anybody, we talk about military and Navy fighters, right? We look at aircraft carriers across the world. Japan, we're looking at the F-15 and the F-16. The F-15 Eagle is still one of my favorite planes. It's a big Boeing beast. It's an amazing aircraft. But the F-15 and the F-16 had design changes, and then they were able to be released and sold to other nations. Another more modern craft that is being sold to other nations is the F-35, the F-35 Type 2. Now, the F-35 Type 2 contains much of the same information technologically wise that was done with the F-22, but it was really stripped and dumbed down. It was meant to have design elements that were cheaper, they were more flexible, and they were able to not circumnavigate the law, but fall within the confines of the law that Congress placed in 2010 to ensure that none of this technology got into the hands even of allies. Because again, if you have a downed plane, there's opportunity for you to have access to those particular items, and they only wanted the United States to maintain, especially when you're talking about radar cross signaturing and your stealth mode, because this is a stealth fighter. They just weren't going to release the information to the general public or to the following nations for bid. Now, Congress did in 2010 try to put in authorization bill that allowed for provision to sell it or information about it within the aerospace industry, but nothing really happened with that. Japan tried to buy them. Australia, the leader of Australia actually came out and said, you know, we think we should be able to buy these. And they were like, well, we're glad you think so, but no, you're not getting these. You can buy the F-35. But to date, no F-22 Raptors have been sold to any other nation outside of the United States. So we've only kept these in-house. Now, one thing that I did find out about this plane that I didn't know in doing my research is that there's a thing called mission capable rate. Now, there's a lot of things that go into this, but I'm going to try and give it to you in the smallest kind of manageable bit of information. Now, I am not an Air Force. I'm not a flight guy. I am not a pilot. I don't work on ground crews. I'm not a flight historian, so I don't know all the specific jargon, but basically when you talk about mission capable rate, what it means is how much time can that vehicle, whether it be a craft, whether it be a ship, whether it be an amphibious unit, a helo, whatever it might be, how quickly can that be dispatched, right? How quickly can you get that on site to engage in the mission in which it's supposed to do? And this plane, while it had top notches for weight to thrust vectoring, while it has top notches for cyber defense, while it has top notches for heat intrusion prevention, while it has top notches for radar cross signature, while it has top notches for stealth, maneuverability, the ability to go from Mach 1 to Mach 2. There's so many pluses, but it didn't do very well in your mission capable rate. In fact, the F-35 program, that whether you feel like it's a lemon program or whether you feel it's a good program, the F-35 program was actually designed to have something that was a much higher mission capable rate. And as many problems as the F-35 has, maintenance issues, post delays, over budget, overspending, the amount on plane, all the information that's housed within that, it's still a much, much better mission capable rate airplane than the F-22 Raptor. And I was kind of taken back by that. You think with all this technology that they would have good maintenance programs and stuff like that, but because it's so high tech, the amount of hours that this plane can be in service is greatly reduced. So there's a lot of computer issues that have to be reviewed. There's a lot of updates in software, firmware, things like that have to be updated. If they notice anything within the flights, they have to go through and check the entire plane. They have to look at the absorbent material. They have to look at helmets. There's all sorts of checklists that have to go through in order to make this mission capable. And I was rather surprised to see just how much there was to do. And again, I'm not going to go into all of this But I was quite surprised. Like, it was like, I looked at the F-15, again, F-15, just absolutely great plane. F-14 Tomcat, looking at the F-15, the Falcon, looking at some of these planes and going, they had good mission rates, but the F-22 does not. Now, in dogfight, it's a really good plane. Now, China made a statement regarding this particular plane and a new missile that they were doing that was supersonic, saying that they would have no problem shooting this down if the bomb bay doors were open. Now, I didn't include the image on this particular set of slides, but if you flip the airplane over and you look at the bottom, if you go to the short, the 2-minute video that I did yesterday, about 3/4 of the way through that, you'll see the plane inverted, and you'll see the bomb bay doors that are there, and it seals up for the ASRAAM missiles that go in that. When that's open, the radar cross signature jumps through the roof. It slows the plane down. Obviously, your weapon systems are being deployed. Now, they're all internally housed because it makes for sleeker, lower radar cross signatures. But when it's open, it makes it more vulnerable. But there was one fluke against a French fighter. I don't know if it was his skill as a fighter or just kind of a fluke in the dogfight. But in mock exercises, they actually shot this plane down. Now, this plane hasn't been shot down in actual dogfighting. I believe it has a record of something like 79-0, which is really good in relation to top planes. But it does have its issues, and I wasn't aware that the mission capable rate was so low for this particular plane. Well, folks, I've got about 15 minutes or so left. I am going to go back to chat. Can I get some feedback? I mean, this is basically kind of what I talked about. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I absolutely loved making the video and having this presentation. I really do love the F-22 Raptor. It is a gorgeous vehicle. It's a great plane. But yeah, I enjoy this. Eric, how you doing? AZ Coins, thank you for coming in. Great, Scott, how are you? I'm going to go take a minute just a sec and see kind of what we got here in chat. That's correct. You have to have a secondary pilot on the ground. There's a lot of information that has to be done. It's not a single pilot mission. There's a lot of things that have to happen outside. Technologically, this thing's amazing, and there's so much stuff that I would read about and look at. But I mean, obviously, I can't talk about it, or it's not open or available to me. But it's a remarkable aircraft. Lockheed Martin, which was Lockheed when they started the program, merged with Martin Marietta, and they became Lockheed Martin. They did a really good job on this plane, this aircraft. It's a phenomenal fighter. I do like the coin. Okay, I really do like the coin. Now, I don't think, like Paula, I don't think I can get over the mistake on the reverse when it comes to the core values. It's just a cool plane. And so I do have a couple of planes that I'm going to be looking for. Matter of fact, I was talking with, looking at a new coin. It's actually a new airplane coin from Canada about one of the lady designers of the plane that's there. And I'm going to go Canadian, and then I'll go Navy me. But I'm working with one of my buddies up there in Canada. He's going to send me a couple of these. I also have another Canadian brother who reached out and said that there's another one that it's a pretty cool coin with a plane on it. They're going to be sending me one. I've got a European coin, a German coin that I'm going to be talking about. So I'm doing not just the United States, I'm doing multi-country. We have a bunch of people across the pond who come in and check out the channel. So I want to make sure I'm providing them and their viewers. It's a metal, not a coin. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's Paula. Love you, Paula. That's right. It's a metal. It's not a coin because it doesn't have a date on it. So I am going to be going over some coins and some metals. And but anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me. Is this did you guys enjoy this? Is this something that, because I don't mind doing the research, I don't mind doing the work. If you guys enjoy this, if you guys like this kind of comment on Saturdays, then I'll go ahead and I'll continue to do that. If you would rather me focus purely on the numismatic side on Saturdays, then I can do that too. But if you like this, let me know and I'll go ahead and continue it. FYI, it's National Aviation. Actually, I did know that. One reason that I put this out today is one of the things I was going to wrap up with. Dream Crusher, Paula. Yeah, you know what? I really want to get her, and I shouldn't say this out loud because I think I'm actually going to do this. I think Paula Bloom, if you have a channel and you have channel mugs, Paula Bloom collects channel mugs. I think I'm going to have one made that says Crusher of Dreams and find some sort of, Hulk smash or something. But thanks, Big Flip. I appreciate it. But I love Paula. She's up front. You know exactly where she stands, especially when it comes to numismatics and talking about what's going on in the particular coin and realm. So good to know, Chappie. I know we have a lot of brother and sisters that served in the military. So I give you a salute. Thank you for your service. And again, not just with the United States military, but if you serve your military abroad, it doesn't matter what nation you're with. I don't have to agree with your policies. I don't have to agree with your politics. I don't have to stand with you as standing beside you as a countryman. However, if you take time and you serve your country, you put yourself before your nation in defense of your nation, then I salute you. It's something that not everybody does, but those that do really earn my respect and my dignity, and I appreciate you. So again, I am going to be continuing this. Again, I'm not sure which one I will be doing next. I think I'm going to try and do the one that I talked about that's coming. I'll be making sure that I include, again, more history, be talking about the plane itself. The one I think I'm going to be doing it on, which is the new Canadian one that just came out. I'll be talking about her as well, talking about the history and how she designed and what she kind of came up with. So there'll be a little bit historical about the plane, but then there'll be a little historical information regarding the designer and her skill as well. And then I'll be talking about the coin itself. So, all right. Well, you all, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for coming in, for celebrating, joining with me on this particular topic. Now, I'm going to go back to chat and I'm going to ask my moderators, did anybody come up with the final item? Did anybody say, Snoopy, yep, congratulations, she spent time in the Marine Corps, booyah to ya, Semper Fi, right? Aircraft carriers. I talked about one aircraft carrier. I will be talking about on ships on coins, primarily battleships, but there is, when we talk about the F-14 Tomcat, things like that, then I'll probably be talking about the carrier since it's a carrier-centric plane. But if nobody figured out the end of the Cold War, so when you typed in 25 December 1991, it's going to tell you that this was a key date. This is when the hammer and sickle fell and the tricolor flag, the Russian flag that we know, was raised. Today, how does it relate to today's message? So if you look at, and I'm going to go ahead and change this real quick and go back to here, because I'm going to change the screen real fast on the other side. there is a command. I'm going to, oops, help if I close that. I need to open that. I'll pull this up real quick and I will show you which one it is. So I will say that Chappie was really, really, really close. He said what it was, but he didn't include it. So it was end of Cold War. Now, I know he said it, but again, it didn't do it. There's something I've got to figure out what I did with the $ user. I think I goofed that up. But when you get the item, this is how it's going to be displayed. It's going to say, congratulations. You've won the prize. Contact Frostbite Coins and Collectibles. Give this person a prize. You did, but you didn't put it in this fashion and the system didn't pick it up. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing as I'm talking about these. If you like that idea, let me know, because now, Chappie, because this was the initial one, I'm going to go ahead and call you the winner. So I will be sending you something. So go ahead and reach out to me because you did say the end of the Cold War. I did see that. But moving forward, you will have to put it in that structure. Now, I will say that there are other ones that are in here. I'm going to give you another insight. I have done some secret commands, and periodically with secret commands, I have some coins that I set aside specifically for giveaways. Now, I'm not going to be doing giveaways where it's like, you know, everybody come in and I'm going to be doing a giveaway. These are impromptu things, right? In order for you to get a giveaway on the channel, you're going to have to be engaged in chat. You're going to have to be at the video. You're going to have to be listening. And so this is how we're going to be engaging this. But I have things like this. Okay, April Fool's Day. Well, what is April Fool's Day? It's also known as Frosty's birthday, right? So if you guys didn't know that, yes, I was born on April Fool's. It should make a lot of sense to you. For those of you that also don't know, that when I was born, the doctor smacked my face, smacked my ass, and said, "Congratulations, ma'am, you've had twins." Anybody who can tell me who said that joke initially will get a BU wheat cent. So if anybody can tell me who actually told that joke initially, we'll get another one. So this is how I'm going to be doing my giveaways. I'm not actually going to be doing it where it's, you know, everybody come in and do this. I want you to be engaged. I want you to talk about the stream. I want you to look at some of these things. So if you can tell me who it was that said that originally, and that was Rodney Dangerfield, Snoopy Sacks, you got it. So Snoopy, I'm going to be sending you a BU wheat cent. I'm going to try and see. I think I have one from the 1940s. I don't have too many from the 30s and earlier. I think I have a good one from like 47, 48. So I'll send you one of those. But yeah, in fact, it was tough crowd. Rodney Dangerfield. So good job, Snoopy. Congratulations on that. Grant's Collectibles. Hi, this is Grant from the Tulsa Coin Show. Hey, thank you for coming in. So, Grant, did you see the video? Hopefully you saw the video. Again, this is somebody that I met in Tulsa. This is absolutely awesome. I appreciate you being here. This is why I loved going to Tulsa. Get to meet people, get to talk to people. Having somebody come into my stream and be a member and, you know, say, hey, you know, I'm here. Thank you so much. That made me all giddy. I appreciate that. So again, friendship made. And so thank you very much, Grants Collectibles, for coming in and for participating in today's chat. So again, I hope you guys like the game. I'll be doing it on Saturdays. Sundays is going to be more revolving around, I get no respect. Exactly, Compton. But I hope you like that. So moderators, if you can do me a favor, I'm going to give everybody a chance to go get over to the Will's Treasures for the Premier Train. So if I can have somebody go and throw ahead, go throw ahead, reverse that, go ahead and throw in Will's Treasures link for the choo-choo train, the premier train. Go ahead and jump on board that. Everybody has a few moments to go ahead and do their bio break and get yourself a cup of coffee. But please go over and support the premier train. There's a lot of good people who've done a lot of work to do some good videos. You got Will's Treasure, you got Miss Coin Crew, you got Mad Stacker, Everyday Copportunity, Gold Sniping Farmer, Wild West Stacker, Will's Treasure, you have Ringmaster Ray, just some great people. Go over and support them. Let them know that Frosty sent you. I appreciate you all for coming in. We'll see you tomorrow morning for General Frosty's Chit Chat. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Chappie, don't forget to send me a message. Snoopy, don't forget to send me a message. And I will get out your goodies. Y'all take care.